What is an influencer without the halo effect? Analyzing the influence of influencers by taking away one of the most important components, the halo effect of physical attractiveness. That's a title for a starter. And of course, as with many things, we cannot really get rid of an influencer's halo effect entirely and then measure the actual halo effect. We simply do not know how modern influencers actually would be perceived without the influence of the physical attraction. But first, we have to define the halo effect, sometimes called halo error, is the tendency for positive impressions of a person, company, brand, or product in one area to positively influence one's opinion or feelings in other areas. Source: Wikipedia or Wikipedia. I think it's still Wikipedia, even if it doesn't make sense, the pronunciation in English. In practical terms, this means if among the many factors influencing our perception of others, one quality is extremely positive, often also extremely negative traits are included in the halo effect, this tends to bend our judgment of someone else's impressions and judgment in other areas too. Whether you have a voice like Morgan Freeman or look like Angelina Jolie, both factors might be enough on their own to create a halo effect and therefore influence our judgment of these people in other areas. Since physical attraction is for one a very practical example and for two one of the most common positive impressions responsible for the halo effect, it also makes sense to focus on that particular subset of the halo effect. Of course, also other factors might be enough to create the halo effect on their own. One example would be an academic title, like a doctor in front of your name. This means you're an expert. Now, when it comes to influencers, the question that immediately comes to mind after first learning about the halo effect, how much of their, meaning an influencer's influence, is actually simply caused by the halo caused by their physical appearance, or the other way around? To what extent positively perceived to what extent does positively perceived or perceived physical appearance predict success on social media? Or in simpler terms, do attractive people get more likes, better engagement, also including comments sharing on social media? Just citing the three questions answered by Google. The first one: do attractive people get more likes on social media? Answered by Google. So, of course, this is an excerpt of a web page which Google just provided here as an answer in the Google search. There are many studies of individuals' self-perceptions through social media use. Social media users who amass a larger number of friends and garner high numbers of likes on their posts have a higher perceived likability. Social media users who are considered physically attractive have higher perceived likability. So, well, the next question: how does physical attractiveness affect social perception? Faces that are less attractive, less average, less symmetrical, older, or less prototypical for their sex create impressions of lower social competence, social power, sexual responsiveness, intelligence, and or poor health, as well as more negative social outcomes. And then, in the contrary, attractive faces in attractive faces should such effects be found. So this is actually, there is something else in between. So this is kind of a abbreviation of the whole thing. The next question answered: how does physical attractiveness affect success? The does isn't included because sometimes people just write words after words when they search for something. After graduate school, both male and female economists who ranked higher in attractiveness landed better in their first jobs, and attractive individuals continued to find better academic job placements up to 15 years later. Looks were also related to research success. So this is what Google says. I mean, of course, this isn't like a proper scientific research, but it at least seems there is a phenomenon Going into further details about the specifics of individual studies is left out here due to restrictions in terms of text volume and is left to you. For now, we will just use the halo effect, more specifically the halo effect caused by individuals perceived higher in physical attraction as a given that causes us to perceive everything else connected to the person emitting the halo and also benefiting from the halo more positively. Like everything an influencer posts on social media, whether you should like everything someone posts on social media is a different question entirely. Chances are, quote, you will like more the more attractive the influencer. Sounds like something you would write on a George Orwell Big Brother poster. Now the question, of course, is this. What would be left if we took away the effects of the physical attraction of many of today's influencers? They would be reduced to the things they actually are saying or not saying, the information they actually would communicate to you. Only one problem. No communication without distorted perception. Think about it like this. Even if you just took the message of many of these posts or videos, like a typical post on Instagram with a short to medium length description, you would still attach it to a person. Consider this. It still makes an impact whether a random voice would read it to you or a Morgan Freeman's voice. And if we reduce the message of a person even more and only see the written word, so the impression was kinda crappy, I guess. This leaves language somehow with too much responsibility. Written word is more powerful, but written word spoken is even more powerful, and spoken by someone could be even more powerful. But that's sidelining the actual direction the short thought experiment should lean towards. The intended direction is this. With the knowledge about the influence of physical attraction in today's age of social media and self-distribution of content, we can try to put influencers into two boxes. The ones whose success is mostly due to their physical attraction or attractiveness, and the ones whose following would also be intact to a huge portion without the halo effect of the physical attraction, the ones who actually have something to say. Of course, having something to say is very subjective, and everyone should not only be allowed to try to use their voice, but also be enabled to use it. That's one of the core ideals of any, or principles of any democratic society. Of course, with strings attached that currently have to be explored more and more in the same context. The context of social media. But think about it like this. What would be left of the influence of people like Justin Bieber, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, and so many others, if they wouldn't benefit from a halo caused by their above-average attractiveness? In order to have the same influence, and we now take only the factors actual message or information someone spreads or wants to spread and physical attractiveness into account, one thing seems clear. At a given influence, the less attractive someone is, the more this person has to make up the now missing halo by delivering better information or delivering the information better. And the more attractive someone is, the more this person can get through without actually, or can actually get away without actually delivering something that high in quality. This doesn't include the causes of the perceived higher physical attraction, to which extent this is caused by genetics, personal health and fitness management, surgical corrections, childhood, or upbringing, or distortion through the optimization processes. When editing before posting, we just use perceived physical attraction as a factor. Think about it like this, in extremes, in black and white, which is something humans are good at, due to evolution and other factors. If you reduce the halo effect caused by positively perceived physical attraction to zero, would someone be still Einstein or a nobody?